Hello everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode. I'm just past Ruiru town along the northern bypass, and I'm heading towards the eastern bypass. The real deal. I'm sure you have seen the title and the thumbnail. Well, I'll show you how some people with business acumen manage to turn an empty space to a city-like establishment. We will be getting there in exactly 20 seconds. And for my business people and the kind who have capital but lack business idea, this one is for you. Just be keen and watch the kind of businesses these people are doing, and I'm sure by the end of the video you will learn something. The Eastern Bypass starts at this point, and I want you to keep looking on my left and see the kind of businesses that are run here. Very simple but unique. Like I just saw someone selling theme park products, the seesaws, slides, just name them. I'm sure his target market are schools and rich families. Another one just next to him is selling fabricated gates. They are ready-made, and so it's just a matter of buying and fixing. And just because they are selling them kinda casually, only parading them along the road and waiting for passerbys and walking buyers, these are not brokies, don't get it twisted. I can tell you for sure that the cheapest gate there is 70,000 Kenya shillings, which is around 500 US dollars. I also saw someone displaying colored cabros. And the reason for telling you all this is just to prepare you for what to expect. Remember, this is not the epicenter. We'll be hitting the bypass capital in a few, the real Kamakis bypass, also known as the Nyama Chama belt. I will be telling you more about that. We will also highlight on the issue of business duplication, which is a common issue here, and I'm sure you'll see for yourself. Land prices, population distribution are some of the things that we'll be touching also, as usual. But in the meantime, let me take this opportunity to welcome you to a YouTube channel, Village to Town TV, a channel that is dedicated to continue showcasing beautiful villages, towns, and cities across the continent. If you have not yet subscribed, kindly consider doing so. It is absolutely free, but means the world to us. And for those who are booking for private video coverages, maybe you have some sweet memories of your former primary schools and you love to see its current status. Some even goes to an extent of telling me that, Mr. Lone Traveler, I've been in the US for the last 10 years. And I would like you to do a video for my village and make sure you capture my mom's gate. Well, ladies and gentlemen, continue doing so. I know memories means everything to us. Just hit me on my WhatsApp number, which is on the screen. Well, back to the video. And this is not a natural hill. It is just an overpass. The old railway line is passing under, heading toward Ruiru town. And I want you to see something, because it's like we are on a raised platform. I'm sure you can see something like a town right ahead. That's our destination, the Kamakis bypass. Well, history goes that not so long ago, this place was a wasteland and nothing much was happening. But in the year 2014, the then government, headed by President Kenyatta Jr., while the current president was his deputy, decided to construct a road connecting Mombasa Road and Thika Road. Thika Road is the road you see right ahead. I'm sure you can see vehicles on the overpass. It connects Nairobi City on my right to Mount Kenya region and the northern Kenyan area on my left. And it still remains the biggest road in Kenya as far as width and the number of lanes are concerned. Well, I can see a traffic police officer controlling traffic right here in this busy roundabout. I'll have to stop until I'm told otherwise. The gentleman is doing quite a good job. I'm told Kenya has some of the craziest drivers in the world, and controlling them is not a walk in the park. But in case the Almighty have given you a chance to travel outside the country, I'm sure you are aware that having a policeman controlling traffic in a modern city in the 21st century is one of the craziest things that you cannot find anywhere else. Let me quickly show you where I'm at on the map before I continue with my journey eastward. You can see Ruiru town is just a few meters from here, about 300 meters. If you go towards the Kiambu and Nairobi County border, is not far from here. It is just about half a kilometer near Kenyatta University. So I was telling you a story how the government decided to construct this road in 2014. The primary goal was to decongest the city by diverting the cars coming from Mombasa and going toward Mount Kenya region. Not to go through the city center as they used to, but instead have an alternative route. And so the 32 kilometers road was constructed, starting from the northern edges of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, the biggest in the country, and looping through the southern eastern suburbs of Nairobi City, passing through some city neighborhoods such as Embakasi, Utawala, Ruai, Varsity Estate, which is around here, and ending at Ruiru Kiambu Road Junction, near the upcoming Tatu City. After the completion of the road in 2014, the demand was so high and long traffic snarl-ups were common, and it became clear that the single carriage road was not useful anymore. So in 2017, the then government decided to expand the road into a dual carriageway, a 4-lane road which was opened to the public in 2022. Well, the road came with a lot of opportunities for citizens and especially the entrepreneurs. As you can see on my left, heavy investments and establishments started coming up slowly. Well, I want to turn left and get deeper into the neighborhood. We want to see whether this development is cosmetic. You know, some towns happen to develop along the road while the interiors are decaying. Well, you be the judge. Does the interior align with the exterior? Is the beauty and the development witnessed along the bypass the same with this interior? Just write to us on the comment section and we'll appreciate. Just a few seconds from the main road, and it seems like we have come to an end of the beautiful road. This section is super chaotic. You have to be a little bit careful. But all in all, I can see modern houses are still coming up. Heavy investments. A classic example of the Kenyan entrepreneurial spirit. They don't wait for the government to develop a place so that they can invest, but they start by speculating on how a place is likely to develop in future, how likely the population is to increase, and how land around a certain area is likely to gain value. And so they invest their millions into lands and apartments and wait for the government to do its part as far as the infrastructures are concerned. And so it is not unlikely to find a modern estate with multi-million houses, but with zero infrastructure, meaning that the people are super hardworking, but the government at any level is failing them. Well, I will not be going past this point. The road is quite pathetic, and it seems like the deeper I go, the more trouble I'll be bringing to myself. Remember, I'm just a lone traveler, a very lonely old-timer who only finds solace in visiting new places. And the last thing an old-timer would want for himself is trouble. Oops, we are facing the sun again. The western sun, it is around 4:30 in the evening. The sun will be setting in a few. It's a beautiful day here in the Eastern Bypass. I'm having a good time. It is at the beginning of the month of April. The year is 2025. And Easter holidays are around the corner. What are your plans, fellow old-timers? I'm finding my way back to the highway so that I can continue exploring eastward. In the meantime, if you come from this area, drop a fact or two about your neighborhood. Tell us what do you like about it. Give us a little history of your neighborhood. Tell us how businesses are faring. And how likely is it for a newcomer, especially a business person, to succeed here? And we will appreciate. Well, I'm still doing randoms in the neighborhood. That is Ruiru Kamakis Eastern Bypass. And I'm told the worst injustice you can do to yourself is passing by this place without tasting the Nyama Chama. You can imagine the place is called the Nyama Chama belt of Kenya. And that tells you how plenty this thing is. Well, for my non-Kenyan viewers, Nyama Chama is roasted meat. But there is a unique way Kenyans do it, with less additives, and it is one of the Kenyan delicacies. I'm told that the Nyama Choma joints were the first to be established here, and the Kamakis Nyama Choma joint was among the first, and it became very popular across the country, attracting all other businesses that you see around. I have also noted that furniture and timber businesses are quite plenty here. Talk of businesses duplication, followed by petrol stations. The Western world call them gas stations. The number of these businesses in this area is quite crazy, and the fact that they remain afloat despite the stiff competition means that the market is quite favorable. Also, all the major supermarkets in the country are here. I can see Naivas on my left. Others include Quickmart and Magunas. And that tells you that spending culture is quite high here. I know it is unbelievable, but there are more than 10 petrol stations along this short stretch. And although we are halfway through the journey, I want you to silently calculate the number of petrol stations on my left. And at the end of the video, you will tell me what you think. And remember, there are others on the other side of the road. It seems like the oil business is booming on this side of the world. I don't know what has changed. Selling fuel must be one of the most lucrative businesses in Kenya today. I don't know how it works, since prices are capped by the government. I can see another upcoming petrol station here. Maybe it will be opening in a month or two. Still under construction. Some business centers are also coming up. You can see this one right in front. Well, the house is still under construction, but most shops are occupied. It tells you that business places are quite in high demand in the area. It must be one of the most favorable places for the budding entrepreneurs. I'm also sure you have noted that on the other side of the road, the land there is mostly forest. That's why we are concentrating on the left. Well, let me get a good angle so that I can show you the other side of the road I'm talking about. It is a vast ranch, thousands of acres. Used to go by the name Yesheha Farm. The trees are just along the road, but inside there are open spaces. It is home to the upcoming Northland city, Also Brookside, which is one of the biggest milk processing and exporting company in the country, is located there. There is also an international school that goes by the name Peponi, and so it is a whole business empire. And history goes that the empire is owned by the first president of the Republic of Kenya, that is the late Jomo Kenyatta. I don't know how true is that, but sometimes last year or 2023, I'm not quite sure, goons ascended on the ranch, stealing goats, burning the beautiful forest you just saw. Some even went to an extent of subdividing the land among themselves and building some illegal structures, citing past land injustices. But of course, you don't need to be a genius to know that that was politically instigated, unless you came in the country yesterday. A classic case of a politician eat politician society, which is not a bad thing from a regular civilian point of view, but a very bad picture for any civilized society. Enough with that. I also want you to count the number of businesses dealing with timber on my left. It is also good to note that the bypass area is in Ruiru constituency, Gitodhwa ward, and in Kiambu County. But as stated earlier, Nairobi is not far from here. Well, the small area has a total population of 29,078 people living in a small area of 20.1 kilometers squared. The population density is 1,449 people living in a square kilometer. Well, not so bad. But in terms of gender distribution, 14,245 are males, accounting for 49% of the total population, while 14,832 are females, which is 51% of the aggregate population, making them have a slight majority. In terms of the real estate, land is a bit expensive here. Just look for any Kikuyu seller around here, which is the majority ethnic group in the estate, and they will tell you, but the land is touching the bypass. The bypass is the biggest point of sale around this place, and any land around the bypass or touching the road is very expensive. In fact, I heard a story by one member of parliament in Gatundu, and he was narrating a story of how he made millions after selling a piece of land around here in a deal where he was acting as a broker. I won't mention the name for some obvious reasons, but his story was quite inspiring. In fact, he was giving it himself in one of the local radio stations, and the guy made more than 60 million Kenya shillings from selling 100 by 100, which is a quarter of an acre. And so you can figure out how much you will need to get an acre or a half an acre in 2025. Anyway, let me leave at that, but kindly continue watching the video until the end. Make sure you show some love by subscribing to our YouTube channel, Village to Town TV, a channel that is dedicated to continue showcasing beautiful villages, towns, and cities across the continent of Africa. Also like the video so that it can be recommended to as many people as possible, and smash the notification bell so that every time we post, you'll be among the first few people to be notified. Also keep the conversation going as we move to the interior part of this estate. Tell us what you think about the neighborhood and the kind of businesses found here. Did you learn something as far as getting a business idea is concerned? And what do you think about the business duplication issue, where you open a timber yard or a petrol station and your friend or any other entrepreneur come and open the same business next to you? So keep the conversation going. And for those who are requesting for private video recordings, mainly for places of their own interest, Maybe they want to refresh their memories of the good old days, or maybe they want to review the surrounding of a certain place before they invest their money. Just contact us and we will handle the rest for you. Also, special shout out to Team Village Town TV, those who watch, like, and comment in almost every video. Thank you for the continued support. So for today, let Iglesias Williams and Alan Kinyanjui represent all the old-timers. Thank you.